Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the profound, honestly kind of mind-bending philosophical concepts tucked away inside an ancient Buddhist text. We are going to unpack some absolutely fascinating ideas about reality, illusion, and non-duality, and then we'll see exactly how this timeless wisdom is literally being preserved for us today. Let's get right into it.
Our source text for today is the Sutra on Entering the Nature of the Dharma Realm. Now, this was originally translated into Chinese way back during the Sui dynasty by a master named Jñānagupta. But thanks to some meticulous digitization, it's easily accessible for the modern reader. We aren't just analyzing some dusty old relic, We are looking at a living document. And let me tell you, it holds some incredibly disruptive ideas about how we view the entire universe. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Samadhi and Dharma realm, actual reality and non-duality, the dreamlike six realms, a dialogue between Shravaka and Mahāyāna, and finally, diamond verses and digital preservation. Starting with Section 1, the Samadhi and Dharma realm, setting the mystical stage. Okay, so our text actually opens at Vulture Peak. The Buddha tells his disciple, Mañjuśrī, that he has just emerged from something called the Jewel Accumulation Samādhi. Now, this is a foundational concept we absolutely need to define if we want to understand everything that follows. Essentially, it's this profound, intense state of meditative concentration. Think of it as the origin point, or really the launch pad, for the Buddha's boundless vision of the universe. The text illustrates this idea so beautifully. It says, like a great wish-fulfilling jewel, well-polished and placed in a pure spot, endlessly producing treasures. It's just a fantastic analogy. Just like a flawless jewel reflects infinite light, this specific samadhi allows the Buddha to see infinite worlds and infinite Buddhist teaching, all simultaneously. It is a vision of ultimate, interconnected vastness. Moving right along to Section 2, actual reality and non-duality, the disruptive truth. So with that incredibly vast scale in mind, Mañjuśrī introduces a truly disruptive idea about the very nature of existence. The Buddha actually poses a critical, almost Socratic question to test him. He asks, how do we define what is actually real? What exactly is actual reality? And Mañjuśrī's answer? It is completely shocking. I mean, you would expect him to say that ultimate reality is some glowing, perfect realm far, far away from human suffering, right? But instead, he lists our everyday struggles, the realm of the self, the realm of ordinary people, karma, retributions. He argues that these are all perfectly equal to ultimate reality. Why? Well, because in the grand scope of the Dharma realm, there's fundamentally no difference between the sacred and the mundane. To ground this incredibly abstract concept, the text uses a really beautiful analogy. Think of distinct rivers, like the Ganges, the Yamuna, the Kalabhadra. They all have completely different names, different locations, and totally different forms. But what happens when they finally flow into the ocean? They lose their separate identities, right? The water becomes completely indistinguishable. The text is arguing that all are different concepts, are worldly labels of good, bad, pure, or impure. They operate the exact same way. In the vast ocean of the Dharma realm, they are entirely indistinguishable. Which brings us to Section 3, the dreamlike six realms, the illusion of separation. Now, you might be wondering, if everything is just one indistinguishable ocean, why in the world do we experience such distinct struggles and separation? Well, Mañjuśrī answers this using a really powerful dream metaphor. He says, like a person dreaming of hells or heavens, various realms appear distinct, yet the Dharma realm has no such differences. Basically, it's like a person who falls asleep. In their dream, they might experience the absolute terror of a nightmare or the total bliss of a heavenly dream. And man, it feels 100% real in that moment. But upon waking up, they realize those realms possessed zero independent reality. The Dharma realm is the waking state, and the differences we see, they're just the dream. Next up, Section 4, dialogue between Shravaka and Mahāyāna, the great debate. This introduces some really fascinating dialectic tension. Shariputra, who is a senior disciple representing a much more traditional, strict, rule-following mindset, enters the scene to challenge these radical ideas. He asks a very pointed, logical question. He says, with what meaning is this said, that arhats whose defilements are exhausted are not vessels for this dharma? He's basically saying, wait a minute, why wouldn't traditional arhats, practitioners who have worked so tirelessly to eliminate bad traits, be the right vessels for this teaching? Shouldn't they get the highest truth for doing all that hard work and cleaning themselves up?
Mañjuśrī counters this from an expansive Mahāyāna perspective. He argues that by trying to actively destroy bad defilements, things like desire, anger, and ignorance, you are actually still playing the game of duality. You still think there's a bad thing you need to destroy and a good thing to attain. By doing that, they only exhaust the surface level, coarse defilements, but they completely miss the ultimate point, that good and bad are fundamentally non-dual within the Dharma realm. It's like you can't fight the illusion to escape the illusion. You just have to wake up and see that it's all equal. Let's wrap up our sections with Section 5, Diamond Verses and Digital Preservation, bringing ancient wisdom to the present.
Mañjuśrī actually calls these unshakable truths diamond verses because they literally cannot be broken by worldly logic. So how do we hold on to them in our modern digital age? Well, we owe our ability to study these exact texts today to the C Beta Foundation. They're a nonprofit organization that relies entirely on public sponsorship to meticulously digitize the Chinese Tripitaka. They verify characters, add modern punctuation, and maintain this massive digital database so the whole world can access it freely.
There's a quote right from their sponsorship page that beautifully echoes our earlier river and ocean metaphor. It says, "Though drops of water are small, they gradually fill a large vessel." Small, individual drops, which are like our modern collective efforts, eventually merge together to preserve this ancient, boundless wisdom for future generations. It perfectly bridges the mystical past right up to our digital present. Which leaves us with a final thought to reflect on as we wrap up this explainer. If the text is right, if everything is fundamentally equal and non-dual in the Dharma realm, and our distinct struggles are really just part of a dream, how does that shift the way you navigate the challenges of your own daily life? If you know you are dreaming, how will you choose to dream today? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.